it's on page 165 in your book if you have that, if you have your book available.
This is a
Modified sand pivot, basically. So this, they would have use of the forelimbs somewhat. Usually it's the lower limb works a little bit. It's a little reminiscent of a slide board without a slide board. Slide boards genuinely do not tend to work too well in stroke patients, simply because it's A, a lot of steps, and B, getting them to lean away and place that board. What would they be placing the board with? You know, if we're going to the weak side. Now, if we're teaching it to them to go home, that's one thing, you know, but that's what? A compensatory strategy. So do we go to that first? Absolutely not. So transfers with the slide board would come later to the unaffected side if we realize that we're not getting things back, right? And we've got to get this person to where they can go home and be somewhat independent or doable for a caregiver, right? So that would be done
for both that and the stand pivot.
Huh?
Does that go for both?
Yes.
Modified and stand pivot?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we don't want to train them to go to the good side, because once they realize they can go to the good side and it's that much easier, what are they going to want to do? They're going to want to go where it's easier, and then we are reinforcing an abnormal movement pattern in the way of a compensatory strategy, because then they're going to want to stop going to this side, and then we're never going to redevelop this neuro pathway because they don't want to do it, right? So that's another plus to doing things to the affected side, is because we're still trying to build those neuro pathways. So again, even though it's hard and it takes more time, that's why we're using it therapeutically, and we get all those other benefits out of it as well. That makes sense? Because if we just keep transferring them to the strong side, and they're like, oh, this is easy. No, don't make me do it that way. That way's hard. I want to do it the other way. And then the brain's like, okay, well, this is the way we do it now. And it becomes a compensatory strategy, and we lose the ability to reform this pathway. And we don't want to do that. So, like I said, in essence, it's a slide board transfer without a slide board, but it can be assisted, unassisted. You can see where the top series of photos is him doing one by himself, and the bottom photos is one assisted. So we will do like one where you're instructing the patient, would be probably a contact guard or a supervision level, or one that is assisted and where you have to put your hands on the patient. So,
How much did you say this was in the book?
weight bear through the affected side. We don't necessarily have to have great use of the upper extremity, but we have to at least have enough in that upper extremity. So we're not going to do this with like somebody that's at least not having them assist, if they're like a 0 out of 5. You know, they probably at least need to have a 1 out of a 5 to attempt the transfer, where they're assisting with the upper extremity. So you're going to have them scoot about halfway, and however you guys, again, scooting is, we've already covered scooting and moving, that kind of thing. So then you're going to have, you want the arm kind of in external rotation, internal rotation, sorry. This is to protect the shoulder. We are going to be weight bearing in this position. This kind of locks it in, sort of underneath that acromion, so that when we weight bear on it, it is in the best possible position for us to weight bear on it. If we're up here, if we're out here, then we have the chance that we don't have those muscles. That might be a 1 out of 5, might be a 2 out of a 5. We don't want that shooting up, right? So if we're here, then we have that little added protection of the acromion. That makes sense? So, there is a right way and a wrong way here. Not with everything there is, but here there is. So, that's how you're gonna position the arm over here. Now, depending on, again, the level of that arm, you may have to provide a little assistance at the elbow to allow them, in a real world situation, you may have to provide a little bit of support here to make sure that they can actually get weight through that arm. But, so again, you want feet in together, like in a pivot point, okay? And then you're just gonna have them, you still have to encourage that anterior weight shift. That's everything in our neuro patients, everything in our neuro patients. So you're gonna instruct them to come forward and push up. They may have to go halfway depending on, then you may have to help move the arm, keep it in that safe, close pack position. And again, up and over. So they may not be able to advance this foot even, but even if it's in the original position, they shouldn't have to move the foot.